In this video, I'm going to cover SEO keyword research for lawyers. I'm going to go over the principles of what you need to know when doing keyword research so that you actually find the right keywords and target the right keywords so that you have success with your SEO campaign. And I'm also going to show you how to do it as well. So let's get right into it. So basically, before we get started, the very first thing you need to know is what is the purpose of doing SEO keyword research in the first place. So the idea behind it is to identify the keywords that you want your website to rank for on Google, with the ultimate goal of getting more traffic to the website and ideally turning that traffic into conversions, which in this case would mean paying matters for your law firm. Now, before we do anything, you're going to need tools to get this done. You could use the Google Ads Keyword Planner, which is free in a Google Ads account, but that only gives you a rough estimate of traffic volume and practically nothing else when it comes to SEO. And so that's not going to cut it, especially if you want to compete in a competitive niche such as law. So I highly recommend you get a keyword research tool to do this. I personally use SEMrush. I've been using SEMrush for a couple of years now, and it's been great, and I continue to use it, which is why I recommend using it. You can use it for keyword research along with a bunch of other stuff like rank tracking, competitor research, and a number of other things as well. I highly recommend you get it. If you want it, I'm going to put my affiliate link in the description below. If you don't want to use that, just go to semrush.com. You can get it there as well. But basically, if you don't want to use SEMrush, you can use one of the other tools, but you're going to need a keyword research tool if you want to stand any chance of competing. If you don't have a tool like this, you may as well forget about it. You'd be better off going on my website, just fill out the form and get me to do it for you, because you're just not going to stand a chance. Once you got the keyword research tool, we can actually get into this and start looking for the correct keywords to target with your SEO campaign. There's three main things that you want to know before you even get started. The first is keyword difficulty. The second is keyword volume, or otherwise known as search volume. And the third is search intent. Okay, so I'll go over these one by one because you need to understand what these are if you want to actually succeed with this. So the first one is keyword difficulty. So what this indicates is it's usually one of the tool's estimates of how difficult is it actually going to be to rank for this particular keyword. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say we type in family lawyer and we'll just search that in the US. You can see here, it gives us keyword difficulty and it gives us a 47% score. So this is a rough estimate from this tool of how difficult it thinks it's going to rank for. Now, obviously this number on its own doesn't mean much, but you can use this as a general guide. 47 is pretty competitive. If you have something less competitive, so let's say, for example, typically if you search a particular area, so let's go, for example, Dallas, it's probably going to be slightly less, okay, in this case, it's more competitive. All right, let's pick something, let's pick like a random small town, or let's just go orange. Typically, family law is kind of competitive anyway. Yeah, okay, so we're not having much luck here. So let's just go with like something random, right? This is probably not as competitive. So you can see this one is 34. If we go with something like this, you can see it's keyword difficulty 21. So typically speaking, if it's under, let's say 25, it'll be relatively easy to rank for. If it's above 25 to 50, it's going to be moderately, low to medium difficulty. And if it's above 50%, like family lawyer was, then, or is getting there, then that's pretty competitive. So it's gonna take a while essentially to rank for that, and you're gonna need more backlinks and site authority. Now, the important thing to know about this keyword difficulty is that this is typically based off two main things, right? The first one is the domain authority score of the websites that rank here, basically saying how powerful are your competitors that rank for this. If all 10 results here are filled with high domain authority websites, and that's going to be a difficult keyword to rank for, because essentially you need to have the same level of domain authority to be able to compete with them, at least in theory anyway. And the second thing is how optimized is the content on these websites for the specific keyword. So there are instances where you can have high domain authority score, but none of their content is optimized, and therefore it's actually easier to rank for that keyword. But those are usually unusual cases. Typically speaking, if you see high domain authority and the keyword difficulty score is quite high, typically speaking, it will mean that their content is pretty optimized as well. And as a result, it's going to be a competitive keyword. Now, what will happen is sometimes you'll find keywords where one or two websites here will be very low score. Like let's say, for example, you got in here, you got all these, and let's say this was an 8, then that would typically drop the score dramatically because it indicates that you can rank for this with a lower score or a lower domain authority. Now, the thing to keep in mind with this is that this is not a hard rule. These are estimates that these tools give you based on the data they have. It doesn't mean that definitely going to be extremely difficult to rank for or definitely going to be extremely easy, but it's just a general estimate so that you can get an idea of how competitive this topic is. Now, what you want to do is look at this whole topic as a whole, as you can see here, these related family law ones, and see if it's pretty consistent across all of them. It's probably going to be pretty competitive. In this case, it is pretty consistent. That's an indicator that this is probably relatively accurate. Now, you could also argue that a more complex calculation for keyword difficulty, most tools don't use this, but the topical authority of each of these sites will play a part as well. You know, how relevant they are to the particular topic. So for example, if a random website that's, let's just say, not even a lawyer or a law firm, but they have a very high authority score, if they just make one page about family lawyer, they're probably not going to rank for this keyword despite the domain authority. Whereas these are all law firm sites, as you can see here, and they rank because they're topically relevant. Now, in theory, you could have a weaker site with a more established topical relevance, and you could rank for this. So for example, these guys with a domain authority score of 20, perhaps they are established in family law specifically, and that's why they rank here versus these more powerful websites. So that's something to keep in mind. That's usually not really calculated here as far as I'm aware, but it's something to keep in mind. Now, the second key factor is volume, which you can see here. Now, this is simply the tool's rough estimate of how much volume this keyword gets, meaning how many people search it every month for the particular location. So for example, this is in the United States. Now you can sometimes get even more local specific volumes. So for example, if we do like, let's say Austin, Texas, you can see here that the volume is obviously going to be drastically lower than across the entire US, but you're going to get the volume here. Now the local ones are typically less accurate than the nationwide ones, but again, these are estimates even with the nationwide ones. It's just to give you a rough idea of how much volume there actually is. So for example, while we wait for this to load, if you saw a keyword across the entire United States that had a search volume of 1,000 or a couple hundred, that's an indicator that that particular topic, especially if that's the main keyword, does not get a lot of search volume and in general. And so you can assume that there probably won't be a lot of traffic coming from that particular topic. Now, going back to the local result, you can see here, this says only 50 volume. This is clearly inaccurate. And you can see here that there's 50 volume, but it's a very difficult score. Now, that's obviously not an accurate assessment. And unfortunately, when it comes to local search volumes and data, they're nowhere near as accurate as the international one. I can guarantee you there's more than 50 people a month searching family lawyer in Austin. Trust me, from experience, there definitely will be. But it'll give you a rough estimate. So again, on the local side, I wouldn't really put too much faith in the volume, but that's what volume is. And now the third thing is search intent. And this is also given to you by these tools here under intent. You can see it says commercial for this one. Basically, the search intent is the intention behind the person's search. So what is this user actually looking for? Now, this is important because you need to be able to put the right kind of content in front of the person or on this particular page that you're trying to optimize for this keyword in order to actually stand a chance ranking it. Because Google's actually putting more and more emphasis on the search intent and displaying the right types of content for the particular keywords. Now, what I mean by search intent is, let's say, for example, when someone searches the keyword family lawyer or family lawyer near me, this is an intention of purchasing something. So either a service or a product. In this case, it's obviously a service. They have the intention to complete a commercial transaction, let's say. This can otherwise be called as transactional as well. Some people differentiate those, but to me, they're largely the same thing. And that's what commercial or transactional keywords are. There's a commercial intent behind the search. They want to buy something. Now, on the contrast to that, you've got informational keywords, and that's typically keywords that are questions or someone's trying to gather information. So questions that fall or keywords that fall under questions, like here, how to get a free lawyer for family court, for example, or what does a family lawyer do? That's a good example. That's clearly an informational keyword. They're not looking to hire a family lawyer. They are seeking information about a topic. And so that's what an informational keyword is. These typically convert less than commercial keywords. They're also typically lower competition because of that exact point. And so that's something to keep in mind. However, they are very good for establishing topical relevance, which we'll go to later when we start finding the right keywords and everything, which we're going to build out shortly. So I'm going to show you about all that. But that's the difference between the two. Those are the two main ones that I focus on, is informational and commercial, which you could say / transactional. There's also navigational. I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's more just if someone's searching for something very specific, let's say the brand name of your firm. They search up your actual firm name, that's navigational. They're just trying to find your website. So that's what that is. I wouldn't really worry about them for this, for the purpose of this. It's not really relevant. Now that you know all this, we can start actually doing the keyword research. I'm going to show you how you can go about doing this. So basically what we need to do is find what keywords we're going to target. So let's take, for the purpose of this video, that we are a family lawyer in Dallas, let's say, because we were in Austin earlier, but we'll go with Dallas for this. You want to try and establish what keywords you actually need to optimize your website for. Now, there's one key point that I want to start with here, is that under family law, you're going to have a bunch of subtopics that you're going to have to build out as well. And that's for multiple reasons. One, because they're going to be highly relevant and convert very well. And the second is because it's going to help you establish the authority and relevance to the topic of family law in general. So you want to try and cover all of those if you can. For example, under family law, you would have things like divorce, child custody, child support, prenups. There's all these different things that you would have, and you want to build out the pages for those as well. And I'm going to address that shortly. So to get started with the keyword research, let's say you've never done this before, you're a family lawyer in Dallas, you're trying to get the keywords that you want to rank for. What you want to do is type in the top level keyword that you think is probably going to be the main keyword for the main topic. So in this case, it's family law. Now, the top keyword is typically the one that gets the most search volume. And so realistically, it's either going to be family lawyer or family attorney. In this case, that's typically the case with law firm keywords. Now, I usually pick the one that has the high search volume. Family lawyer, family attorney, they're pretty interchangeable. You don't have to worry too much about it, but that's the top level keyword, typically speaking. Or in this case, you can see here that family law or family attorney near me gets 28 or almost 27,000 searches a month. So this would be basically the top level keyword. Now, when I say keyword though, they do lump together. So for example, for this, let's say you got the main family law page, you'd pull out family lawyer, family attorney near me, family lawyer near me. Those are all going to be targeted with the same page. And so this is how we want to look at this, where we're trying to separate this out into what's logical to target with each page, right? So what you want to do is open a Google Sheet or Excel file, however you prefer to do it. And you want to start putting these into topics, right? So for the topic of family law, so I'm just going to write family law as the main one. Let's color this and separate it out. You would go family lawyer near me, family attorney, and family attorney near me. Now, there's going to be a bunch of keywords that relate to this. As you can see here, there's a lot of variations, but all these variations are practically encompassed within these main few keywords I just typed in. So you don't have to go and get every single variation because it's not really relevant. If you rank for family lawyer or family lawyer near me, you're going to rank for basically all the variations that have anything to do with that. Now, one thing you might want to note though is something like family court lawyers. That could be a specific topic depending on how you tackle this, and it might warrant its own page depending on the difficulty and who ranks for it. So that's something you want to make a note of later. We could maybe write this as a separate one here and just keep this in mind, because that might warrant a specific page. Now, the way I would find that out is actually open the keyword family court lawyers near me and see who's ranking for this. And what we can see here is everyone ranking here is just the main family law page rather than a specific family court page. And so therefore, I think it's safe to assume that you can target that with the main page as well. So in this case, I'm going to go and I'm just going to take it and put that as part of this list here. And so what we're just trying to do is establish what are the main keywords this page is supposed to be targeting, the main ones, not every single one, right? Now, what you want to do is quickly scroll down this list and just see if you can find anything else. Divorce has popped up here, but I would personally have a specific page for that, and I'm going to go into that in a second. So we'll ignore that one for now. Let's see if there's anything else. Now, I'm using the US-wide keywords because you typically see the same patterns play out everywhere. And so because the search volume and the data in general is not that good at the local level, I'm just going to use the national one and then adapt it. And so, people in Dallas are probably also searching family attorney near me. They're not going to be searching some other random thing that's got nothing to do with it if that's what they're looking for. So therefore you can just rely on this to guide you in the correct direction. Now, if you want to double check it, you certainly can, but a lot of the time it's not very good, as I demonstrated earlier with the Austin example. So right now, all it's giving me is just lots of very different variations, mainly to do with specific areas. So basically what this is telling me is that we're good to go with this list for the family lawyer keywords, at least for the top 5 ones that we want to focus on. You don't want to spread yourself too thin with this. Just focus on the top ones for this. Now, there's 2 things that we're going to want to do. So this is for the family law page. This will be the main page. Now, under this, you're going to have 2 things. So you're going to have the subtopics of the services, which are also commercial, and then you're going to have informational family law. So what I'm going to do for that is I will start adding to the list down here, but I'm going to leave a gap, right? And actually, I'm just going to color it just to make it stand out. And basically, this is going to be the blog topics or the informational topics below family law, because we've got the main keywords, right? So now what we're doing is we're basically building out the silo. So what the silo is, if you haven't watched my video on the silo structure of the website, I'm going to put a link above. You should go check that out because it's going to explain this very well. But basically, you want to build the website out into silos, which are essentially the topics. So for example, you got family law. You're going to have the head page, which is the service page for family law. And then you're going to have all the topics below that you're going to build out. And then you're going to have like divorce, child custody. They're essentially going to be their own silos, even though they kind of taper off from the family law section. And you can have like mini silos within the silo, if that makes sense. That's how I personally structure them, and it works real well. So let's say here we're just going to put divorce, and let's go with child custody, and we'll go prenups here just for an example. I'm going to show you how I would build these out. So we've got the family law one here. So now we've got all these info keywords. So basically what you want to do is try and cover the main informational searches that people have, right? Now, this is where things get a little bit messy, and it takes a little bit of experience to do this. So the easiest way you can do it, and what I would do initially, is go straight to the questions and just pull out all the relevant questions. So you're going to have, as you can see here, there's almost 400 questions. Some of these will be repeating, but you'll probably pull out between 50 and 150 good topics just from this, right? So I would recommend go through this list and pull out the good ones. So for example, what is a family attorney? This maybe you should have on the main page, but we'll put this as a keyword anyway and see what we decide to do with it later. Now, one thing again is a cheat. You open this and take a look and see what's ranking. And if it's specific pages for this particular keyword, which it is in this case, then you would want to make it a specific page. So that's the easiest way to tell. If the pages that are ranking are specific pages, make it a specific page. If not, you might be able to get away with just making it the main page. But because this is an info intent keyword and specific ones are ranking for it, you definitely want to do it in this case. Now you got, can a family member revoke a power of attorney? This is more power of attorney related topics, so I'd probably skip that one. How much do family attorneys make? Up to you if you want to add that. I don't think that really adds to helping potential clients search for family attorney, so I would probably just skip that one. What does a family attorney do? I'll put that keyword in, but I would probably put that under like services. That would probably get taken care of by that. And again, we can probably take a look and you'll probably find that that's the case here. Okay, so they are specific, so maybe we'll want to write that as well. How much does a family attorney cost? That's a good topic. I'd have a blog about that. How to get a court-appointed attorney. I mean, this could be a good topic that you want to include as well. How to find a good family law attorney. You could definitely have that, and like tips to finding a good family lawyer. How to choose a family lawyer. That kind of falls under the last one, but I'll put that in as well. And so what we're doing now is essentially building out the topics for the informational content. And so you would go down this list. Here you go, there's another good one. And list out all of these. Now, you will obviously have experience in this if you're a family attorney. So you might want to add some topics here as well that are not necessarily in here. And that's going to give you an advantage, because if you have content that no one else has written about, you're going to have an advantage on that on that particular topic, and it's going to help overall. So I would list out, common questions your clients ask. If you notice anything particular in your area that comes up relating to family law, you would have all these out here, and you want to try and just list out as many as possible. You might have like 50 to 100, let's say, of good topics that you can blog about. And that would be my aim here, is to try and get as many as possible. And so you keep listing them out for family law. You keep going down this list and pick out all the good ones, right? Now, another thing you can do is actually go to the main keywords. And if we search all the variations of family law attorney, there's 27,000 relevant keywords. We can also get ideas from here as well. So for example, like, do family lawyers go to court? And you could write a blog about that. Cheap, you could do something like why you shouldn't hire a cheap family law attorney, or why you should, maybe, depending on what angle you want to take there. Should you use a pro bono family attorney? See, I'm just coming up with topics based on looking at the keywords and obviously a little bit of what I know about the niche already. But that kind of thing you can go. And so you go through and you list out all of these, right? So I think you're getting the point. Now, one other tip you can use here is actually use your competitors. So let's say, for example, we got family attorney Dallas. We'll pull out whoever the top one is. See, if you actually search the keyword, I'll actually go Austin to just show you the keyword family attorney Austin gets 390, but earlier it was telling me that family attorney or family lawyer got only 50 a month. And you see that's clearly incorrect. So that's just an indicator of what I was talking about. But anyway, let's go family attorney Dallas. So Dallas, Texas family law attorney is the main keyword here. You can see that's actually quite competitive and it gets a lot of searches, 720 a month just on that keyword. So what you can do here is pull out some of your competitors. Just pick these three. And then what you do is you can either go straight to their blog, usually under resources, blog, or it might just be right here. Where are we? Blog. And you can pick out topics that they've written about. Like, that's the easiest way to go about it, right? Now, see, child custody mistakes to avoid, how to be financially prepared for divorce. Now, obviously, these are under some of the other topics that we're going to be going into in a second, but you get my point. Now, one way you can do this is, let me just bring this down so you can see. What you can do is take the URL and just go /sitemap.xml, and most websites will have a sitemap, and then you can go under post or page and it will list out all of their blogs. You can see here. Now you can do the same thing with the pages here. They might have something under pages, but this will also give you an idea of how you should structure your pages too. So you can take a look at how your competitors are doing it, but that's an idea you can use as well to find more blogs. So, or topic ideas. And so now what you can do is dividing interest in family business, child testimony, family law, content in family law cases. So you can go through this and just get the idea of what you can write about, different topics that they're writing about, right? And so ideally you want to try and like combine as many as possible from all your competitors and cover as much of the topic as you can, because that's going to establish you as an authority on that. So once you've done that, like I said, you'll probably have 50 to 100, maybe more topics that you can write just about family law alone. We haven't even branched into divorce, into child custody, etc. Now, we want to do exactly the same thing that we did for this, for the other ones. Now, one thing I just want to note is I'm going to insert here that keyword that we just dug up, which was Dallas, Texas family law attorney, because that's one of the main keywords. So we want to just make sure we include that as well, because you'll want to have the keywords Dallas, Texas on that page, ideally in the title and everything. That's obviously not the topic of this video, but that's why I'm including it here. And in an upcoming video, I'll probably include what to do with this and how to write the content for these pages. So stay tuned for that one. Now, what I'm going to do is divorce. So what we're going to do now is exactly the same thing. So let's go divorce attorney Dallas. Now I'm just going to go straight for Dallas on this one just to show you this, but you could go the top level and this as well. Divorce attorney Dallas gets 1,000 searches a month, and actually Dallas, Texas is the main one. So we'll pull that one. Okay. And it will also be, now what's going to happen here is it's not going to give you near me. So you just need to be aware of that. But see how there's like 3 or 4 different variations here. You don't need to pull each of them. The top level one is clearly this one. And then we want to go divorce attorney, because that will definitely be a keyword. And we want to go divorce attorney near me. Definitely will be a keyword. If it's so ranking high nationally, like odds are it's going to rank well here. And then we want to go divorce lawyer. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Divorce lawyer, a divorce lawyer near me. And what I also want to search is divorce lawyer Dallas. Okay, that one gets a decent amount too. So I'm just going to pull it in because it's a different variation. So you got Dallas divorce lawyer and divorce lawyer Dallas. It's the same thing really. So I'm just going to put only one of those variations in. Just make sure there's nothing I'm missing here. No. Okay. So we're good to go here. And so now what you would do is you could go back, and now you want to pull all the divorce related questions, right? So how much does a divorce lawyer cost? So you could write that. Can you get divorced without a lawyer? That's always the question. Put that one in there. How much will a divorce lawyer cost? So there's apparently 2,000 different keywords here. So we'll go through these quickly. Can both spouses have the same divorce lawyer? So you can put that in there. And again, you would go through this list, keep adding them. A divorce lawyer fees, tax deductible, you could include that one. So anyway, get the point to keep going. Now, one thing you could also do here, I would go divorce attorney as well, and then search the divorce attorney variations. They're probably the same, but you might get a few good ones. Who pays attorney fees in a divorce? See, that's a good one. Definitely a good topic to cover. And then what you could also do theoretically is go to the top level keyword, which is just divorce in general, and then just search these ones, right? So what states allow divorce while pregnant? Maybe you could go, the problem is you're going to get like lots of this random stuff. Like, I mean, you could cover some of these if you really want, but they're not very relevant. So I wouldn't stray into things like, you know, this or this. Just, it's not relevant enough to divorce attorneys or divorce law. So you might want to go like divorce law, for example. And then what are the divorce laws in Texas? That could be a good one, something like that. So you want to make it relevant to what you're actually doing, not just divorce like randomly, whatever, but you'll find some good ideas there. Same thing with family law. Like if we go back to that, just search family law as a whole, you'll find some good questions. You know, can you use ChatGPT for family law related matters, things like that, right? So you can get some good ideas here. But stay away from things like where to watch the TV series. Like, yeah, it says family law, but it's not related to you as a law firm. So trust me on that. I've seen instances where law firms rank for these random keywords and they're getting nothing from that. It's just a waste of your time. So keep it relevant, but you can get some good ideas from these lists, okay? Then what you can do again, go back to those websites, pull all your competitors up, search divorce on these lists and just see what they've done for divorce. So obviously they've got their area pages. They've got military divorce, that could be a subsection, or contested divorce could be a sub-page again. A couple other ones there. And if we go back to their posts, how to be financially prepared for a divorce, there's one there. Now you could do the same thing for these ones. So that's just a divorce page. 60-day divorce in Texas, adultery and divorce. There's probably a blog, so you could open that and see. And so you pull out all these different topics that they're writing about, right? Yeah, so this could be an interesting topic you could talk about. How does adultery impact a divorce? You know, things like that. And so you go down the list, and again, you could pull out 50 to 100 lists here as well. Basically what you're trying to do here is just get as many of these as you can, so that you have, you know, a year, 2 years worth of content that you can put out that you will be consistently blogging about. You don't have to keep doing this repetitively. If you only list out 5 to 10 now, like this, then this will carry you through like a month or two, and then you're going to have to do this process again. And it gets messier when you don't do it all at once, because you forget what you've added to the list and stuff. So if you can pull out and get like 100 topics now, you're going to be sorted for the next few years, basically, which is what you're trying to do here. So spend like a couple hours now, you'll be sorted for a long time. So now you can do the same thing with child custody. So if we go back here and we go child custody attorney, let's go Dallas. So that one doesn't get a lot. So Dallas child custody attorney gets low, but I would still add it, because this can get you some good high quality traffic that's likely to convert. So I would make it. So see, now we're starting to get into the easier ones, where these are ranked easier and apparently lower volume, but I bet you if you add this, you're going to have more volume than what's being shown here. So I reckon just do it. Now you can see here, you got Dallas child custody attorney is the keyword. And if we take a look at the URLs here, these aren't very optimized URLs. They don't even have the words attorney in them. And that's part of the reason why the difficulty is low. So you have some of these high quality or high ranking domains, but you've also got an 8, a 14, an 11, and these pages are probably just not that well optimized. I can tell just by the URLs that they're not the best thing I've ever seen. So that's partly why. Now this one looks okay, but it's very short. And I bet you could outdo this quite easily, to be honest. So, and let's see this one as well. This one's probably okay because it's number 1, but interesting. Yeah, this should be outdone pretty easily, to be honest, just looking at the content. Obviously, there might be something below the surface, but you get the point. And so now it's going to be easier to rank for these. So that's why you want to pull out these as well, because you can rank for this much faster than you will for family lawyer, for example. So now we want to go back and just go child custody attorney and see even nationwide, this one's a lot easier. Child custody attorney near me is obviously the main one. Now, obviously this is if you offer this service. So if you don't offer this, then you don't want to do it. You don't want to add it here. You would add the ones you do want to add, but I'm just going through this as an example. You could go child custody lawyer as well. This one gets a lot more. But see, it's still assessed as relatively easy to rank for. So that could be a good opportunity because everyone goes after the main keywords like divorce attorney, family law attorney, but people kind of forget as you go further down the list and get more and more niche, they tend to put less and less effort. So that's something to keep in mind. So pull out Dallas one as well. So you can see I'm using the same pattern of keywords for the main ones. And you don't have to have this exact number. This is just what happens to be the case here that makes the most sense. But you can see I've used basically the same pattern. So that's why I do this so quickly, because I know what to already search for. You just use this exact same pattern, like divorce attorney, divorce lawyer, whatever attorney, whatever lawyer, and then the area near me. That's basically it. And then again, you would have the info keyword. So now you would go child custody lawyer. You might just have to go child custody in general, child custody law. So how much does a child custody lawyer cost? How much should you expect to spend on a child custody matter? Do you need a lawyer for child custody, in Texas or in Dallas in this case? Let's say in Texas or Dallas, I would make them specific as possible if you're only targeting that particular area, because that's going to help make you super relevant when someone from that area searches for that. Let's keep going. We'll find a couple more, but I imagine you guys are probably getting the idea by now. How much does a lawyer cost for child custody? Do you need a lawyer for child custody mediation? That's a pretty good question. See, here it goes. How much does a child custody lawyer cost in Texas specifically? So you may as well just hit that one right on the head. And I would probably also do something like how much should you expect to spend on a child custody battle, for example, and just give a rough estimate if you don't want to give an exact figure. What questions to ask a lawyer about child custody? Great one. Definitely have that. This could be one as well. For example, can a disabled veteran get a lawyer for child custody? I'm assuming they mean legally assisted or financially assisted, sorry. So that could be an article you could write as well. And you get the idea. So you'd keep going down that list. Again, competitors, see if they got anything to do with this, or rather search custody, child custody, absent parents, child custody cases, child custody religion, etc., appeals. Can you appeal a child custody decision, etc., etc.? You go down the list. And also, to be frank, you can use ChatGPT for this as well. You could go to ChatGPT and go, something like, please give me 20 topic ideas for a child custody lawyer's blog in Dallas, Texas. And it's actually going to give you some good ones as well. So you can use this too. If you've exhausted the keywords, you've exhausted your competitors, you want to do something else as well and get a decent number, throw in some of these. Let's see what it has to say here. Types of child custody, physical versus legal, how the child custody laws work, how to file for child custody. You could do the step-by-step guide. Factors they consider. This is a really good one. Modifying the agreement. That's a really good one. How to protect your rights. Top mistakes to avoid. These are actually all very good. These are great, actually. All of these. I would probably write about most of these on the blog. So you see what I mean? And you could do give me 20 more, and it'll give you 20 more. And so that's how you gain all these ideas from all these different areas. And most of your competitors are not doing this, especially at this level. Like when it comes to these sub-niche type ones, like child custody, prenups, all this kind of thing. And so if you can dominate these, you can take over this small segment, but it's a lot of very high converting people that are coming to your firm rather than not, right? And then that also helps build your entire authority and relevance to family law, even divorce, etc., because they're all related, right? And so see, here you go. Now you got 40 potential. So let's say even half of them suck. You would have 20 potential topics from ChatGPT right now that you can add to this list as well. And so the last one we would do is prenups. This one should be interesting because it's probably going to be relatively low volume. So let's take a look, and we'll do this one, prenup lawyer Dallas, and just see what happens. Now this one, there's a few different variations that might pop up, so we want to take a look. So prenup lawyer Dallas, low volume, but I would still make the page on it. Because again, why not rank number one for something that is relevant, right? Now what you might find is prenuptial agreement lawyer gets more searches as well. Okay, in this case it doesn't. So when it comes to these low volume ones, you see how it doesn't really give you related and questions. So you're going to have to come up with this and get a bit creative. So this is where this really comes in. Where you're just going to have to figure it out. So prenuptial agreement lawyer Dallas. Now what can happen is on a local level there might not be much, but on the national there will be. So then you want to go up to the national level. Prenuptial agreement lawyer near me. So you get 2.4 thousand. So you want to throw that in there as well. Prenuptial agreement lawyer, prenuptial lawyer near me. That's kind of the same thing, but I'm just going to put it in there. Lawyer for prenuptial agreement. Take that one. Let's see, attorney, prenuptial agreement attorney near me, and prenuptial agreement attorney. So see in this one, I'm going to add more. Now, the ones where you have low volume, you can add more. Now, you can add more to any of these, but where there's low volume, just pull in a few more variations just to be safe. And now you've got the main keywords for that page as well. And then again, you could do the same thing here. Now we'll definitely have to use the national data for this. What you could probably do for this one is go prenuptial agreement and then use the searches to do with this. So what is a prenuptial agreement? Prenuptial agreement meaning, do you need a lawyer for a prenuptial agreement? Do I need a lawyer in Texas? Let's see what else we got in this 6,000 words. What makes a prenuptial agreement legally binding, for example? Can a prenuptial agreement be overturned or thrown out? How to make it legally binding? I know there's steps you have to take. You could potentially do how to do one as well. I've seen someone write an article about like how to present the idea of a prenuptial agreement to your spouse. I mean, that's something you could write about as well. It is relevant to the topic. So should you use a free prenuptial agreement? So you see where I'm going with this, like how I'm thinking to develop these keywords. And so this is the process I go through when I'm doing this for a client, is literally what you're seeing here. I go through this for all of the different things they want to offer and establish all of these keywords, right? What are the advantages and disadvantages of a prenuptial agreement? Can you do a DIY prenuptial agreement, etc., etc.? List those out as well. Again, ChatGPT will work too, as will the competitors. So you could do, please do the same for prenuptial agreements. There you go. Are they enforceable in Texas? Key benefits, how to draft one, what can be included, what can't be included maybe, prenup versus postnup, if you own a business. These are all great. I would write about all of these. So there you go. You got 20 more here as well. And so you're just trying to cover the topics in as much depth as possible. The keyword lists here and the keywords you're finding are supposed to give you an idea of what people are looking for, but you want to cover these topics in as much depth as possible, because if you can do more than your competitors have done, then you're more likely to establish relevance and authority for them and take over the topic. And that's what you're trying to do here. So that's the purpose of this. This is basically the entire process of keyword research. You want to keep doing this, list out all of these, and then start producing these blogs and these pages. Now, that's something I'm going to cover out in a future video, so stay tuned for that one, where I'm going to show you what to actually do with these keywords once you got them and how you can produce the content. If you have any questions about anything that was in this video related to keyword research, put them in the comments below and I will answer them. Otherwise, if you are trying to grow your law firm and trying to get more matters and more cases, I help lawyers do that on a pure performance basis, meaning that you only pay me for the results I actually get you. If you want me to see if I can help you, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with me there, then you won't have to do all this. I'll do it all for you. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you on the next one.